Hello and welcome back to the Darth Magog channel. I'm your host, the Dark Lord of the Apostates, Darth Magog.
And I'm Commander Fives, landing with the 1914th.
And today we'll be examining the separation of church and state, or lack thereof, when it comes to Jehovah's Witness children. Let us begin. We would be honored if you would join us. Okay then, Commander. I think the paperwork has you as Supreme Commander Fives now.
Excuse me, I thought it was Grand Admiral.
I don't know. There's something caught up in the paperwork. Ask the Emperor later.
Yeah, he's not going to tell us.
He's not going to tell us anything.
Anyway, your sign.
Anyway, before we begin, would you like to recite your credentials for our audience, for any new recruits in the audience?
Yes, sir. Over 10 years working with younglings and a master's degree in the same field.
So, you'll be bringing the childcare expertise, and as usual, I've experienced 20 years in Jehovah's Witness culture as a ministerial servant and also as a Padawan, so between the two of us, we've been on both sides.
A shared wheelhouse.
That's our wheelhouse. Well, that being said, I've got 3 videos for you about preaching in school for Jehovah's Witness children. It's a very interesting thing. It happens in the workplace too, but I'm especially interested in how it happens with school. So we've got a really good one lined up here. I think it's lesson 13, and that one is, Jehovah will help you be bold.
Just gonna drop a little interesting note. This is a bit of a full circle because our very first video that we did in the series, we touched a little bit on preaching in schools.
Oh, did we?
Tiny bit.
I suppose we did. Right, let's get directly into it.
Let's do. Ooh, we like tails.
Yes, that's the,
So does Sophia.
that one looks more like a turtle.
Do we figure the other one's a tortoise?
The other one is a tortoise, which is also a turtle.
Yep. Well, there's melancholy music.
Oh, the Learn from the Great Teacher book. That used to be pink in my day.
Do you have a copy?
Yeah, of course I had a copy. Everyone had a copy. It's required reading.
Well, you know.
Hey, Sophia, what you reading? Hey! Hey, give me my hat back.
They took his beanie.
Very convenient.
Yep. She does not want to be doing this. I used to ride the shuttle like that.
We didn't fly a shuttle, actually. We were too close.
Right. If only it went that fast.
Doesn't feel like it.
School die, work die? Nah, not remotely.
All eyes on me.
Yeah, poor thing.
Yes.
She should not have to be in this situation.
Constantly sat on a bus.
I feel so bad
Preaching.
for Zoe. Her grandma died. I wanted to tell her about Jehovah, but I got scared. I wish I was more brave.
Sophia, you can be brave. Tell you what, let's work on a little project together.
Or we could not push our religion onto some random grieving child.
Do you not know where you are right now?
Irrelevant.
She needed boldness too.
Hey, she looks like me.
She's very much
No,
like
she
you.
doesn't.
What's her name?
Well, the Bible
White
doesn't
Jesus, maybe?
say.
Actually, not white Jesus
She's
for
in the
once.
Bible?
Yes.
I mean, it could be.
Why is she scared?
No, not him
She's
for
in a
once.
strange place.
I know, but it
Far from
could be,
home.
for the purposes of the joke.
Surrounded by
For the
people
lols,
who don't
yes.
Worship Jehovah.
Oh goodness.
She was taken from her family and forced to work in the home of a mighty warrior called Naaman. Life as a slave was very hard, especially for a little girl.
That's got some dark implications.
Yep.
The warrior was a mighty man and fearless. He had defeated many enemies in battle.
It's quite good animation, I'll say.
Yeah, I think this is
His
where they
illness
kinda
was
hit their
like an
stride, so
enemy
to
he
speak.
could
Well
not
animated.
defeat.
Yep.
No one in the land knew how to help him.
Oh, we're encouraging compassion for damn slavers.
What are you staring at? Get back to work.
Pretty sure that's the direction this is going.
Don't worry, it gets worse.
The master's so sick.
Counting on it.
There's no hope left in him. None of the gods have cured his illness.
Jehovah can.
What did you say?
I said Jehovah.
Never say that name here.
Or I'll
Don't
beat
you
you
know
with
who you are?
scallions.
We don't worship your God of Israel.
That voice actress is
These are our
acting.
gods.
So's the character model.
Reminds me of the hobbits and Gandalf's fireworks.
Daddy!
No! Your father is sick.
No, please, I want to stay. Mommy, please.
Alright, that's legitimately sad.
It is. We feel bad for the sick slaver.
No, I feel bad for the cadets.
Oh, my dear.
Yes, of the sick slaver.
Master,
Yes.
I know what can help.
What?
Never say that name here.
You must decide.
Can I get you some more food?
Fine.
Jehovah, I'm scared. I miss my mom and dad. Mom told me I could always call on you for help, but nobody here wants me to talk about you. Jehovah, I know you can help Naaman. Please make him better, so he could play with his kids.
Why though? I know she just said why,
Please
but
help me
why
be
though?
brave,
That's a good
so I can tell
question.
him about you.
This video is infuriating.
Oh, you don't even know the Bible story. It makes things 10 times worse.
Pretty sure I've heard bits of this particular story over the years.
Possibly.
Never say that name here.
You must learn to keep.
I know who can help your husband.
Who?
Jehovah, the God of Israel, my God. His prophet can heal your husband. He must go to him.
And there's gonna be a whole little off-screen adventure here.
Okay.
Takes off to see Elisha, I think. It was either Elijah or Elisha. I can't remember which prophet. She probably just said it and I've long since forgotten.
No, she didn't. She just said his prophet.
My lady! My lady!
Haha, stupid unbeliever is stupid.
The master has returned.
Was he supposed to have leprosy, you think?
That's exactly what he had.
Daddy!
Oh, my love.
Can I hug you, Daddy?
Of
course. Come here. Come here, my son.
Daddy, I missed you so much.
Now we're gonna rethink being a slaver?
Now I know there is no other God anywhere. Only Jehovah.
Yes, this is the important thing.
Thank you, little one. Thank you for telling me about him.
And that's it.
I figured it would be, yeah.
She didn't know what was going to happen after she spoke up, but she knew no matter what happened, Jehovah would be with her. And Jehovah will be with you too, Sophia.
I'll never be as brave as her.
Of
So many
course you
logistical
will,
issues.
Sophia.
We've already been through
You just
this.
need a
It's
little
clearly not
practice.
around.
And then you will be bold too. Do you
I
remember
think it's
what we're
funnier
doing
when you read the
tonight?
scripture.
Family worship?
Right. Maybe tonight we can make a pretend classroom in the kitchen. I can be Zoe. And Dad and Caleb can be the other kids.
Hey, remember when they didn't put this much effort into helping her with her bullying problem?
How did you know about the beanie?
You can practice being bold.
And yes, I
with
do
us.
remember that.
And then tomorrow, you'll be all set for Zoe.
Zoe, who's asked for none of this. Oh, look at that little kitty shirt. So cute.
I thought I couldn't be brave. But I learned from the little Hebrew girl. She was just like me. And Jehovah helped
I mean,
her be
not
brave.
really.
Not at all.
By several
Sorry about
levels.
the Grandma. This is for you. It will help you feel better. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Zoe's just being polite.
As she should
Hey,
be.
Timmy. Want to see what I was reading on the bus? Sure. This book teaches about Jehovah. Jehovah? Yeah, that's God's name. It tells us about a happy future for the earth. Plus, there's a bunch of pictures in here to help you learn about him. Wow.
Oh, that's such an oversimplification, cadet.
Bye. I want to tell people at school about Jehovah.
Why does the textbook look like the Revelation
if I'm ever
book?
afraid, I know he'll help me. Because he's my friend.
That one looks like the old songbook. I bet they did that on purpose.
Probably, if you can recognize it.
Oh yeah, I recognize it. Oh, and here's the schmaltzy montage of totally real kids totally doing this with their totally real classmates, and definitely not pre-arranged Watchtower snapshots.
The lighting alone's a giveaway, ain't it?
Okay, that's enough of that.
Thanks, I hated it.
Well, Commander, dare I ask, can I offer everyone together some Jehovah's Witness context for this?
I've said proceed in the past. What else can I say? Never.
Well, too bad.
But, in fact, proceed.
Well, I think we should try something different today. I actually found my old New World Translation, so I'm going to turn to the scripture for once, and just to show you how radically disjointed these scriptures are from the message in the video. So we're going to start in 2 Kings chapter 5 and verses 2 and 3.
You're already torturing us.
I'll try not to read it in my witness voice. How's that sound?
How long is it?
Long enough, and it reads, on one of their raids, the Syrians had taken captive from the land of Israel a little girl who became a servant to Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, if only my lord would visit the prophet in Samaria, then he would cure him of his leprosy. That's the entire story.
Alright, now I do want to hear your witness voice.
Another time, Commander.
Really? Not now?
Not now.
Okay.
Anyhow, so the context behind this is yes, the little Israelite girl, for whatever reason, I can't remember why Jehovah was mad at the land of Israel, so he gave Naaman a fair victory and decided to make sure Naaman beat up his chosen people and apparently kidnap this one specific little Israelite girl and place her into slavery under his wife. And apparently the only thing she has to say is, "Oh, master will be better if he goes to worship my God." And Naaman goes and does that, and he just tells Prophet Elijah, "Great, Jehovah is the greatest God. Can I pay you some silver for saving me? Can I offer you anything?" He bought gifts, and Elisha says, "No, I can't accept these, vaya con Dios," and Naaman says, "Okay." Then after that, I think Elisha's underpriest or his assistant takes some money from Naaman anyway, so then Elisha takes Naaman's leprosy and gives it to Gehazi for being greedy. We never hear about this little Israelite girl again. She is not freed.
Wait, be kind, rewind. They transferred the leprosy.
Yeah, so Elisha got rid of the leprosy, then apparently it's floating around in the ether, so he used Jehovah's Holy Spirit to afflict his greedy assistant with leprosy.
So that gets punished with leprosy.
Yes.
But the guy who enslaved a youngling gets to be cured?
Totally fine. Just have to worship the right God.
Alright, that's the end of that.
Yeah, that's how that worked. So not only is she not named, she's never mentioned again, and actually, and she gets no benefit from this. It doesn't say if she sees her parents again, she is not freed. As far as we know, she lives and dies a slave. She's just owned by someone who apparently believes in Jehovah now, and that's it. Someone who has killed probably a number of her countrymen in battle and kidnapped her and enslaved her.
Oh, and killed the civvies too.
I'm certain he killed civilians, her countrymen, which I'm assuming many were civilians. So that's what happened there. I guess the Jehovah's Witness context behind this, now that you know the Bible story, and that all that other stuff was made up, there was no back and forth, no prayers to Jehovah, that was Jehovah's Witness fanfic. Remember when we did the episode with Martha and her made-up friend Talia?
Yes, sir.
It was another Jehovah's Witness fanfic like that one.
I'm not surprised, that's what I expect.
Correct. Anyway, so the actual context behind this is this. If these people in these bad situations can preach under the worst conditions, then you can too. And that's relevant because Jehovah's Witnesses have to deal with persecution. Obviously not so much in the States or in this sector of the galaxy, but in places like Eastern Europe it's been a bit of a problem. It's been a bit of a problem in Africa. It's been a bit of a problem in Central America. So I'm not going to say that Jehovah's Witnesses aren't persecuted. They are. I wouldn't say that they're persecuted any more than any other religion. Even if we go somewhat, let's go dark. Let's go to World War II Germany. I can't say the name of the event because reasons, but we know what happened there.
We know.
So we know what happened to the modern day Israelites there. We know what happened to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I have to tell you it's off by an order of magnitude. I think it was 6,000 with Jehovah's Witnesses. Pretty sure it was in the neighborhood of 6 million victims of Hebrew descent.
That is correct.
So that's another part of it. And also going back to Jehovah's Witness children preaching in school, this is also part of them being blood guilty if they don't, because a lot of people can't be reached at home. They live in gated communities, they live in condos or apartments, so it's not easy to go door to door.
Or they'll just close the door on you like we saw last time.
Or they just close the door on you. Jehovah's Witnesses use this as something of a warm approach. These children are already here in these schools, and the parents themselves cannot go in and preach. Obviously because of the separation of church and state, but because there's and you can better speak to this issue, I'm sure, because there's something of a gray area with sharing your beliefs as a student with a fellow student. Just sharing, that's the gray area to take an opportunity to give a witness. And they see schools as a child's own personal territory, so they should be working that too. On the bright side, it counts as field service time, but on the other hand, it's making school that much worse. That's the context. Bible story plus persecution plus blood guilt if you're not working your own personal territory equals that video.
I see.
Hopefully that's enough context. There's probably another factor or two, but that's the general gist. Anyway, once again, agents, say it with me now. Commander, is there anything wrong with this from a childcare perspective?
I hate it.
Specifics, Commander.
I'm stuck inside the Bible story. I mean, I haven't gotten to Sophia yet.
Alright, well, the Bible story. Let's talk about that.
We don't care about literally child slavery. We only care about Jehovah.
Who, with the praying, again did not deliver the child of one of his chosen people from her enslavement, but instead healed the slave master from his deadly disease.
Yeah, she's a prop. She's a prop. They don't give a shite what happens to her. She's just there to bring the message.
Doesn't even get a name.
And she's there to be an example of persevering through suffering, regardless of how ridiculous pointless the actual suffering is. And there's something to be said for gaining inner fortitude, or whatever you want to call it, through suffering. That can be very valuable if the suffering is in fact beyond your control, or if somebody else isn't profiting from your suffering. This is clearly somebody profiting from his suffering, and that's the hero of the story, the man who was healed. I did feel a little twinge of compassion for his younglings. That was the extent of my sympathy.
Fair enough.
Just a whole load of no.
Okay, what about?
I'm channeling Buffy Summers. 1,000 gallons of no.
Commander, stay focused. Our titular character, Sophia.
Yes.
So what do you think of her situation in this, having to work with her friend Zoe, who's had a loss, and we know Sophia's suffered loss too. We saw the Sister Elsa episodes.
Deplorable. She doesn't even want to do it. The whole point of the video and getting this pep talk Bible story is because she doesn't want to do it. Clearly that's not coming from nowhere. The reluctance is not coming from nowhere. Because it's awkward to go and talk to somebody about your religion when you don't know if they share those beliefs, or you know they don't, perhaps.
I'd agree that as a Jehovah's Witness child, I also noticed that it's a little othering too. You're always the kid that's pointed out, because you're not allowed to sit in for holidays, you're not allowed to sit in for birthdays or have cake, so everybody already knows your religious beliefs are weird, and not like theirs. And I'm not sure what it is, but it makes it that much harder to talk about. You just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, because, I'm gonna give it a whirl, because any sentient person knows on some level that giving somebody unsolicited information, especially in a vulnerable time like a time of grief, is at best an awkward thing to do. It's just not done. And that's why there's so many tactics to get people to do that, to get over that weird social hump. You know, and that would be more pronounced as a cadet who, as you said, is already feeling othered, and like the only one in your class who has this responsibility. And I'd venture a guess that even a child who's been brought up from birth in the truth isn't gonna have their first inclination to be to whip out Jehovah when their classmate's nanas died. So I'd imagine it's just a little weird.
Agreed.
Because you know it's not coming from you, it's coming from... that responsibility is being placed on you by outside forces. It's not internal.
True.
Does that answer your question?
I think so, and that actually clears up a lot of academy trauma.
Care to say more, or is that a different video?
Probably a different video for a different day.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather not dilute the meaning of this video.
Yes, so we're on that track. I think because I pointed out that she clearly doesn't want to do this, and there's a reason she doesn't want to do it.
Correct.
And then she's essentially forced into it. Whether she's gained inspiration genuinely from the Bible story or not, it's still not coming from her. And poor Zoe's just... It's interesting to me that the animators didn't choose to have her break out into a smile or give Sophia a hug or anything like that. She just says very politely, "Thank you." And her face doesn't really change. She just goes off. And it's not about her either. It's about the fact that Sophia has fulfilled the action she's supposed to fulfill as part of the religion.
Which is placing literature, because you notice she had 2 copies of the book, so...
I actually didn't notice.
Oh, she gave one to Zoe, and she gave one to the other little boy too, and that's because she went to her literature counter and got some. They actually do the ordering, and I did that for a while. I was mostly the audio servant, make of that what you will, but also I was also working the literature counter for the literature servant when he was off doing field service or whatever.
Yeah, I was getting at the very beginning when I said we were coming full circle because we saw this aspect of preaching with the 2 mums video, where Sophia's mum was encouraging her to tell her classmates that having 2 mums is bad.
The one that we assumed probably moved because we never see or hear from her again.
Yeah, they were probably driven out of the community by these weirdos. So yeah, it's just superseding huge topics like death and the loss of a grandparent, the loss of anybody. Superseding that, superseding slavery, superseding child slavery with Jehovah, and what Jehovah allegedly wants, and when it's actually what the elders want, and by extension what the parents want. And you brought up a good point with how into that they got with the mock classroom in the kitchen when they barely did a thing about her getting bullied, and they were just like, pray like Jesus or whatever it was. Oh no, pray like the wife of the concubine?
Oh, you mean Hannah?
Yeah, so clearly we're a lot more invested in passing along literature than we are in our daughter's emotional well-being, which isn't surprising.
And that's the JW experience. Well, that being said, would you like to move on to the next episode?
Nope.
Do you have more to say?
Nope, but just... Gad.
Mutiny. Should have just made a droid army. Moving on, the next episode on our list is a shorter one. This time we're going to look at Love Your Neighbor.
It's not gonna be love. Spoiler alert.
I guess we'll find out.
Come on, we know.
Another day on the school bus.
Ever notice how well behaved these kids are?
Does she go to a
Oh,
school?
sometimes.
Spoke too soon. Still pretty mild compared to what they often get up to.
Good morning, everyone. We have a new classmate. Her name is Priya from India.
She's from where?
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
This is how we know these are
Okay,
American students because
so
they've never
let's work
heard
in
of
pairs.
India.
Who needs a
American
partner
geography
and can
students are
team up with
trash.
Priya?
Poor Priya, she looks so terrified.
I would be too. You see these
Hey,
savages?
Sophia. We're a team, right? Yeah.
These children are so disturbed and unhinged.
So,
We know she's unhinged because she's wearing glasses.
And the big
I'm
eyes.
This, and then that. She's taken.
He's always got Cheeto dust, even when he's eating regular food.
These racist little shits.
What did Jesus teach us to do? To be a real neighbor like the Samaritan. Sophia.
He taught us to show love and kindness when somebody needs help.
Oh, that's what you mean by run the mics.
Yeah, that's part of what I did.
Oh.
Oh, you've never seen that?
No, not that I remember.
Hi, I'm Sophia.
Hello.
I like your outfit.
Where did you get it?
My mom made it.
And Zoe's sitting
It's
with them
from my
too.
country. They call it a salwar kameez. This one is my favorite color.
What's it like where you live?
Out of context, that's actually a sweet little video.
Out of context, it's a sweet little video. But, you know what we have to do. Let's get some Jehovah's Witness context behind this and ruin it. Anyway, let's turn our New World Translation to Luke chapter 10, verse 36. And it reads, "Who of these three seems to you to have made himself neighbor to the man who fell victim to the robbers?" I don't know why they made it stop there, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. So basically, an Israelite man is struck down by robbers or whatever. Some other Israelites walk by, it was a Levite man and a priest, and they didn't do anything for the man who was robbed, he was robbed, beaten, and dying in the desert. And next person who rolls up is a Samaritan, someone who wouldn't believe in Jehovah, or Yahweh as he's appropriately named. So anyway, what he does is he gets the Israelite man that's been beaten, he patches him up, gets some food and water, gets him to shelter, gets him feeling better, right?
Yep.
And that's the end of the story. That's when Jesus says, who among them was the best? Who was the real neighbor here? Was it his spiritual brothers, or was it the man who went out of his way, who knew nothing of him, who was not of his tribe, and just offered compassion? The theory behind it is that, the true believers are the ones who act and do, but the Jehovah's Witness interpretation of this and the application is a little different. They see any instance like this as a good opportunity to do what's called giving a witness. Now, are you familiar with that term, Commander?
Nope.
Okay, so giving a witness means that you'd show through your actions as part of the hive mind that is Jehovah's Witnesses. You're demonstrating how good the people of that religion are through your actions. So by offering your seat at a table, or offering water, or offering a practical solution, then you're opening the door for spiritual conversation, just showing, hey, Jehovah's people are the best people.
So it's an advertisement.
It's an advertisement. It's just a walking advertisement. That's what it comes down to. These are the free show tickets from a timeshare guy, because this otherwise would spit in the face of bad association, because you wouldn't associate closely with someone who isn't one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So you want to give a good advertisement to whoever's out there, but unless they're interested in converting or are already a Jehovah's Witness, you wouldn't closely associate with them otherwise. You're constantly putting on a front for someone who isn't involved in the religion, and actually getting close to and actually getting involved with someone who is in, if that makes any sense.
So they'll just ditch the people who don't come aboard?
So the exact terminology, what they say is if a study is non-progressive. So say you start a Bible study, or if a return visit is non-progressive, then they would advise you move on. Correct.
So if I'm understanding the original Bible story correctly, it's warning against people who may nominally believe in Jehovah or Yahweh, but don't always walk the talk.
Exactly.
And they are worse than people who walk the talk but don't necessarily believe in the name.
That's the gist of it. That's very, very abridged, but yes, it's about actions over words.
Which is an important message to consider. There's value in that. This clearly getting lost in the way it's applied here in the video, as you were saying.
Agreed. That being said, now that you have that information, from a childcare perspective, are there any red flags for you here, aside from the massively hypocritical message?
Only because I know what's going on behind the scenes, like as we both said. Out of context, it seems ISIS, but when you know that she's doing that at least, I think Sophia's a good kid.
I agree. The character seems like, in a vacuum, this is the type of thing she'd do anyway. She's just kind.
That said, we're getting her to be kind and inclusive for all the wrong reasons. And she's also setting her up for potentially a big fall, because if she actually attaches to this Priya kid, and then it's discouraged from continuing to associate with her, if Priya doesn't convert, which she probably won't, then she loses this friend.
Well, she'd lose her anyway in Armageddon, whether there's a fireball that hits her in the face. Come on.
Irrelevant for the purposes of what I'm saying.
Pretty sure that's relevant to Sophia.
The fireball is not here. The here and now is the interpersonal relationships, and we're fucking with our interpersonal relationships.
Well said, Commander.
Again, for the sake of the religion. And as she gets older, if the main reason to be kind is reinforced to just be for the religion, for the religion, for the religion, she's going to lose her appetite for being kind because it's the right thing to do. So, she's a child soldier.
Yes, that's the...
Emotionally speaking.
That's also what they call themselves, soldiers of Christ, not in hand-to-hand combat, obviously, unless you're anointed.
Yeah, that's why I said emotionally speaking, but emotional scars are also real. And they're definitely treating this child like a soldier. Oh, like a sacrifice and a pawn.
Commander.
I was speaking, sir.
Constantly.
By your invitation and commands.
Anyway, no, I was just going to interject that literally what they call their Bibles, the colloquial term is their swords, specifically the new ones. They call it the silver sword, so that just reinforces your point. I do agree. Jokes aside, I do agree with you.
Of course, but yeah, we're not fostering genuine connection in the younger years. Again, just to serve this other purpose, this other authoritarian purpose. And I can see that chipping away at a child over time.
Especially someone like Sophia with bullying and not being able to participate in things, not being able to enjoy her natural, quote-unquote, God-given gifts, her natural talents.
Yeah, it's just stress. Like, every single one of these videos is just stress. All around unnecessary stress placed on these kids.
Oh, 100%. Speaking of...
For literally no reason.
Agreed. Any other thoughts on this before we...
What were you gonna say? You said speaking of.
Yeah, I was gonna say speaking of which, that's a perfect segue into our last video, unless you have anything else to say about this one.
Nope, but let's continue.
Okay, here's the final one. Since it's about obedience, about the stress that's being put on, let's have a look at why obey God if we can't see Him.
Obedience is violence in these videos. What are you gonna scare me with now?
Well, let's just see how violent it gets.
I'd rather go rescue Cat Up.
I want the answer.
Previously on Dragon Ball, Caleb and Sophia.
So what happened after the math test?
He tried to give her the answer, but...
I don't think he'd still be talking about it.
The answer. Yeah, you could be the best in the class. Some things are just more important.
I like that they're doing the hair texture so well.
Being honest.
I mean, that's not wrong.
Come on.
Sophia, if you did take the answers, who would know?
That's a good question.
Jehovah. But
Not the teacher, not herself.
why obey God if we can't even see him? Well,
This is my favorite part. It's so relatable. Watch this.
Flipping through the book.
Dad, how can I show Zoe that Jehovah sees us?
We don't see Jehovah, but how do you know he's there?
From the Bible. But Zoe just started learning.
True.
Right, that's a thing. They've
Can
started
you
a
think of
study.
something from Jehovah she's already seen?
Look at Zoe.
They got Zoe. That's why she's allowed to sit with her at lunch.
Creation. It's the last paragraph here. God is the one who made all these things. God made the heavens and the earth. He made people too. What are your favorite things that God made?
Making a lot of assumptions here.
Well, I love sunsets, fruit, playing with my dog, and my mom. Aw, Jehovah made those things because he loves you.
Specifically?
Even though I can't see him, my favorite things remind me that Jehovah sees me. And that you always want to listen to him.
I think Sophia's switching chronology around a bit.
A little bit. Okay, Commander, that's a loaded one.
So violence and thought crimes.
Wait, give me a second. Let me see if I can lighten this up a bit. Would you like to read the scripture?
You know what? Why not?
Alright.
Where do I begin?
I was going to say you don't have an option. Turn your Bible to 1 John chapter 3 and we're going to read verse 22. And it says, quote,
Oh, I thought you were going to make me read it.
Oh, actually, would you like to read it?
Sure.
We just turned this into a Bible study.
Someone has to, keep Zoe company.
22.
Okay. And whatever we ask, we receive from him, because we are observing his commandments and doing what is pleasing in his eyes. Word vomit.
Almost has nothing to do with the video, eh?
It's got nothing to do with anything.
I think because it was a letter he was writing, it comes down to, we get good things because we follow God's law, is what it comes down to, in context anyway. But Jehovah's Witness context behind this one, obviously Jehovah's Witnesses take as a given that the Bible, or at least the New World Translation of the Bible, is canon to everything. It is directly from God's mouth to our hands. That's what it comes down to. Even though it was, quote, written physically by over 40 men, it was God's word specifically that was given to those men for our benefit. They believe everything in the Bible, unless it's explicitly stated to be a metaphor, is literal history that happened, and as such, they firmly believe in creation. So there are a few logistics behind that, like some evolutionary things they believe in, and some things that they don't, but fundamentally they are creationists. But now, to get into this, let's forget the Israelite girl from the first video who Jehovah presumably created her mom like he did with Zoe's mom, even though the Israelite girl didn't get her mom back for whatever reason, and didn't get a puppy and didn't get those other things. Apparently the love is evil. The love is equal.
Right. Must also be evil.
It might also be evil. The love is equal, but some love is more equal than other love. But let's put that aside for now. That aside, what pops up for you as a red flag as a childcare expert in this video?
I'm going to comment on a common thread before I get into this violence and thought crime that I mentioned a minute ago.
Okay, what's the comment?
Especially with the last two videos, there's a common thread of doing things not because it's genuinely the right thing to do, but because God wants you to, which is a lot of the discourse that comes up between religions of all types and atheists. So I wanted to point that out, to put a pin in that. Now, so violence and thought crime. With this video, we're seeing a heavy amount of being watched to believe in you being watched, and not only being witnessed externally, but presumably your thoughts are also being witnessed.
That's correct. They do believe that. I think we went over this in the last Reddit video we did. I'll put a link to that in the description box or in the corner or something, but it discusses dirty thoughts and self-pleasure and all that comes up in the Reddit thread. It applies to, it goes either way. God sees the good things you do and think and also the bad.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if this follow-up video was her getting in trouble because she considered briefly cheating on the test. So let me be clear, I'm not condoning cheating on a maths test, but also taking one answer to one math problem in one elementary school test is far from the worst act of dishonesty you can commit. And we're turning this into a whole thing where you need to do right, not because it's the right thing, but because you're being watched, and because you're going to displease the giant, invisible, all-seeing, all-knowing, authoritarian, punishing figure.
Fireballs for days, specifically the last days. In fact, the final part of the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days.
Yeah, last day of the last week of the last month of the last year. Anyway, yeah, that's a pretty heavy burden for a youngling, as I imagine you can personally attest to, Lord Magog.
It's a familiar one, I have to admit.
And as always question, what's the point of doing what God wants if God can't see you? I know the lesson they might be trying to push here is that you should do the right thing even if you aren't being watched, but they don't really go in that direction.
Well, not if God can't see you, because God can see you. You can't see God.
Right, okay, let's turn around then.
Right.
But I think that kind of comes down to the same thing.
Yes, you did mention that. I think in our very first video, that Jehovah is this constant looming authority figure that's always just kinda hanging out there, but you can never directly confront him. That's something you've brought up in the previous videos.
Yes, and it gets translated into human beings in a variety of situations. You see in cults like this one, you see it in non-religious cults as well, you see it in high control situations, you see it in abusive relationships with both abusive parents, abusive spouses, where questioning the person with the power is an affront. Which is, actually there was an unrelated video I was watching not long ago, where one of the presenters, the video was done by a cult survivor listing telltale signs, and one of them was, you cannot question the authority. You know, questioning how things are done, questioning what is being said is seen as a crime in all honesty.
Apostasy specifically here.
What's that?
No, that's specifically what they call it in Jehovah's Witnesses,
yeah.
It's apostasy. Dark Lord of the Apostates, I say that for a reason, obviously.
But yeah, if you really want to know as a child, as an any aged person, if you're really in a safe place or space that cares about your growth, ask yourself whether it's safe to ask questions, whether the punishment comes from a human being in the same space or from a spiritual being. That's what I'll have to say.
That's a good point.
Oh, I also want to point out how intentionally or not, the kids are so trapped at school. So you're being sent to this box, which is literally modeled after Giles, architecturally speaking.
Architecturally.
And somewhat socially too. Anyway, not going down that womp rat hole. They're stuck in this box with kids they may or may not want to be with, may or may not get on with, and you're layering onto the already existing trauma of being an American Academy cadet, making them preach and talk to kids who, very likely, don't want to hear about it. What an extra source of stress for those kids.
Well, I think we've exhausted those talking points. Any final thoughts on Jehovah's Witness children preaching in school? Oh, also, I was going to ask, does this violate church and state? As I understand it, it's still free speech just to voice your beliefs, or if someone asks about your beliefs and is genuinely interested. At what point do you think it crosses a line?
Admittedly, it doesn't come up much for me since my cadets are too little. I'd imagine that informal conversation is fine, but it can't be formal. You can't require prayer. You can't require religious exposure or religious events. That's where I think it gets sticky. But kids just waffling on, I don't think that's a problem.
Well, Commander, thanks again. We'll see how the
ship destroyed
paperwork is going after this, but thanks again for offering your childcare expertise.
Very welcome, sir.
And to my XJW agents in the comment section, what do you think? Have you had an experience preaching at school or being preached to at school? Whatever your thoughts may be, we'd love to read them in the comment section down below. And of course, XJW agents, remember, the elders may be watching you,
but Darth Magog is watching the Watchtower.